Yes, it's a great Goolwa Cockle challenge. Thank you. So if you've... Is that on? Have I not switched it on? Okay. Thank you very much. Is that better? So if you've ever been down to Goolwa Beachway in South Australia, you may have seen people doing this crazy shuffle in the water. So we call it down locally the the cockle shuffle, the cockle dance, and it's a great way to dig for cockles in the sand. This is some of my Year 9 students that came out to help me. They loved it, got right into it, trying to get some cockles for us. And so today I'm just going to have a brief chat to you about one of the projects we're working on, and that's to incorporate monitoring and community awareness to try and help manage the recreational fishery of this species in South Australia. So if you haven't seen a cockle before, I wonder if I can press play on this somehow. Yep, there we go. This is a Goolwa cockle, and this is what they look like, and they have a foot that they extend out, and it helps them dig themselves back into the soil, or the sand in this case, to protect them from predators. They grow to about 60 millimetres and live for about 3.5 years. A bit of a background, so pippies, or as we call them locally, Goolwa cockles, they have a broad range from Eyre Peninsula to southern Queensland, and they do prefer high energy beaches. So like what is found down at Goolwa Beach, where there is a real local hotspot for them, so possibly the largest Australian population of them. They have been utilised by Aboriginal tribes, and they're very important from an ecological, social and economic perspective. So socially and economically, the harvest of cockles is very important. So the commercial fishery is about a 60-kilometre stretch adjacent to the Coorong, and that's really well managed with a total allowable commercial catch, TACC, which is based on yearly stock status. So in about 2016-17, that was about 500 tonnes. So it's a really well managed fishery. They get a lot of data from the commercial fishers to feed back into quotas for the following year. The recreational fishery is about a 15-kilometre stretch between Middleton and the Murray Mouth, and that's about 33 tonnes were estimated to be harvested in 2013 and 14. And this is also a regulated fishery, so there's minimum lengths, bag limits, possession limits and closed seasons. However, it's not monitored on a year-by-year basis, so the harvest or the population that's there isn't monitored on a year-by-year basis. They do a 5-year recreational fisher survey, and that informs the management of it. So we thought it was really important to come up with a project to help feed back into the management of this species, with utilising both monitoring strategies and citizen science or the community's input. So the first part of it was to monitor populations of these guys, so assessing changes over time and space. So we looked at population density, length, structure and harvest weight. So when you're going out cockling, you generally cockle in this sort of area where the green arrows are. I had a few students try and cockle out on the sand out here, which didn't work too well. So we look in the swash zones, and they're down to about 40 centimetres deep. Now, we had to use a lot of spatial and temporal replication in our monitoring, because literally you'll go out cockling and you'll dig here and you'll get 100 cockles, and then you'll step to this side literally here and there'll be no cockles. So they're so patchy, and I know in a lot of aquatic animals and there is a real patchiness, but these guys are ridiculously patchy, so we had to use a lot of replication in our sampling methods. So we had 6 sites ranging from Middleton to the Murray Mouth, and we used the rapid replicable sampling technique, which you dig a 30-second hand dig, and you have to sample during low tide, which you have about a 4-hour period, normally about 4 or 5 a.m, which is not too much fun in winter when you're in the water for 4 hours, but it's okay. And we did it before, during and after recreational fishing season period. So far we've done the before and during. In each period we sampled for 4 days, 6 sites during each of the days, and 6 reps for each of the sites, so 432 replicates in total per period, to try and account for that patchability. So some of the preliminary data that we've got so far, so you can see here there hasn't been a significant change in mean density of cockles before the recreational fishing season started. This is this year's data, and during the season. So the only thing we have shown is a slight decrease in density at these sites 2 and 3, wonder if I point this, whether it will, there we go, cool. So these are the main sites that are targeted by recreational fishers. So that's where they mainly go. This is around Goolwa, so that's where they mainly target cockles, and that's the only place we've so far seen a bit of a decrease in density. So it'll be really interesting once the fishing season closes to see whether there has been any effect on that, on the numbers there. We found a really interesting pattern in the size frequency of cockles. So we found that up here, this is the site that's furthest from the Murray Mouth, and this is the site that's closest to the Murray Mouth. We found the trend was that the cockles near Middleton, furthest from the Murray Mouth, were basically dominated by a size range of about 20 millimetres. And as you move towards the Murray Mouth, that shifted to a size range of about 40 millimetres. So it'll be really interesting to do some more investigations next year as to why that's happening. But it's pretty cool to see that sort of trend happening. Now, the second part of the project, that what we wanted to do is to engage the community, because they're animals that there's so many of them and you can only do so much yourself. So we thought it would be a great opportunity to engage the community and recreational fishers in this project, and it give them a chance to be involved, and also teach them about the management of this species, about the fishing regulations, and give them an increased sense of ownership of this species, not sense of increased ownership of the species by directly contributing to the management of them. So we held the Great Goolwa Cockle Challenge, and it was a great day out, and the recreational fishers and the community were encouraged to come down and see how many cockles that were uniquely tagged like this they could catch. So it's really like finding a needle in a haystack a little bit, but we had quite a bit of success. And amazingly, the whole Goolwa community came on board. We had so many local businesses donating prizes, from balls to fishing rods to 5 nights of luxury hotel accommodation. So really, the whole Goolwa community came on board with this and made it a fantastic day. Unfortunately, before the community day, we had to tag all the cockles. So we tagged 3,280 cockles, ranging from about 15 millimetres to about 60 millimetres. It was a huge task. We kind of underestimated how, we knew it would be big, but we ended up calling on all our family and friends to come and help, because it was just the tagging took such a long process. You need to tag them, record the links, and it's a huge process, all the while keeping them alive. So a lot of aerators going, and this was all during a huge heat wave. So it was great fun. The community day, now there was, even though it was catastrophic conditions on the day, so we had weather of ridiculous, over 40 degrees, winds of over 90 kilometres an hour, probably the worst weather conditions I've ever experienced at Goolwa Beach. We still had over 450 participants register, which was just phenomenal. I can't believe they were out there, to be honest. And so about 70% of them weren't local, so we had people coming from all around Australia, all different states, and there was a lot of media attention, so a lot of radio stations, a lot of newspapers came down, lots of kids and families out, and overall it was just a really fantastic, successful day. So amazingly, we got a really high recapture rate for this type of species. So 160 of the tagged cockles were caught on the day, which is really incredible. That's something we couldn't have done ourselves. So having that community involvement was really amazing, and they caught a lot of the cockles. And this is an ongoing thing. So if someone, a member of the community now catches a cockle, they can ring in or email me, and with the cockle dimensions, and I'll enter it into our database. So some of the cockles are up to 149 days out in the ocean. So far, so very preliminary data, I'll stop using that word, has shown that they do have a low movement. We haven't found any that have moved more than 300 metres, and about a 1 millimetre growth per month. So really great information that, again, thanks to the community, we've been able to gather. So in summary, I'll just show you this. So this little boy here is the one that won the 5 nights accommodation, and he was just stoked. And his parents were off somewhere having a few drinks, and we announced the award, and he's like, "Oh, that's me!" And he had to run and get his parents, who didn't believe it. So he was very, very happy, and it was very cute. And that's my kids, and they had a lot of media coverage with these cockles before the event. And so anyway, the Great Goolwa Cockle Challenge, it was a really great, fun way to raise the profile of cockles. It was really great to get the community involved, and so it'd be great to keep going. A lot of the community members said that they'd love to see this event run on an annual basis, which we'd be happy to do. It's just a matter of getting funding, I guess. And also to extend the role, to see what role tagging can play. And we think that regular monitoring in this sort of recreational fishery is really important. So looking at what is harvested and what the population is still, what population dynamics are still there. So thank you for listening, and also a lot of acknowledgements to so many people and businesses that helped out, but I won't name them all, but thank you.